in not answering the phone. The silence that follows feels like velvet, dense, protective, expensive. Once to be alone was a sentence, now it is a status symbol. Privacy, that humble birthright, has become the last luxury good. You can smell it in the clean air of a private island, or in the simple privilege of not having to explain a delayed reply. We live in a century of constant availability. Every light blinks its demand. Every device purrs for attention. Our days are a choreography of alerts, our nights a seminar on distraction. And so the rare moment when nothing expects us becomes intoxicating. We begin to crave just absence. Once, solitude meant suspicion. The lonely were the forgotten, the unloved, the slightly strange. But the digital age has reversed this hierarchy. The truly powerful now vanish. They reply when they wish, not when they are summoned. Their privacy is their proof of worth. To be unreachable is to have arrived. Welcome to Anthropologically Yours. I'm Rashmi, and today we are talking about the pleasure of being unreachable, the aristocracy of absence. I have seen this new aristocracy of absence everywhere. From the discreet tycoon who travels without posting to the woman who reads her messages and answers none. Their silence talks with authority. In a world obsessed with presence, nothing unsettles quite like withdrawal. There is anthropology behind it. Every civilization measures status by scarcity. When food was scarce, feasts signaled power. When land was scarce, palaces did. Now, in the age of constant connection, the rarest commodity is peace. The fewer people who can reach you, the more precious you become. Attention once measured love, now distance measures importance. Of course, we dress it beautifully. We call it boundaries, digital detox, mindfulness. But beneath the vocabulary of wellness lies fatigue. We are not detoxing, we are decomposing gradually, gracefully under the weight of perpetual visibility. The modern soul longs for shadows. I remember one evening in London a few months ago when my phone died and I forgot the charger at home. For 6 hours, I was unreachable. No calls, no maps, no witness to my existence. I walked through the city as if invisible. The lights seemed warmer, people slower, my own thoughts louder. By the time I returned to the hotel, I realized something astonishing. I had missed no one, and no one had noticed. Freedom can sound like that quiet, indifferent, magnificent. Our ancestors sought solitude in monasteries or mountains. We find ours in airplane mode. The mechanism is humbler, the need identical. The human spirit requires intervals of disconnection to recognize itself. Connection, left unchecked, becomes noise, an unending applause that drowns the performer. There is science to it as well. The brain, flooded with notifications, never enters deep rest. Dopamine keeps us fluttering on the surface, addicted to anticipation. Silence, by contrast, allows serotonin to reclaim its throne. This is why a weekend away from screens feels medicinal. We are not escaping others, we are returning to equilibrium. But solitude is not merely therapy. It is a seduction, a pure attraction. The unreachable carry an aura of mystery that the constantly available never can. It is why the unsent message haunts more than the delivered one. Absence flirts with imagination. Presence exhausts it. Perhaps that is why every era invents its own way of disappearing. The Victorians wrote letters that took weeks to arrive. Imagine that. The post war generation left for business trips without forwarding addresses. Today, we vanished by degree, ghosting through selective silence, leaving our read receipts like breadcrumbs for the curious. The method changes, the instinct endures. Still, the heart trembles at its own contradictions. We want to be missed but not found. We crave recognition yet dream of anonymity. We are each of us a small civilization trying to manage our own population of expectations. To retreat is not selfish, it is administration of your own life. So, what's wrong in it? There is also a softer truth we do not say aloud. Many of us are tired of being accessible to people who have not earned the access. Once, access was intimacy. If someone could reach you, it meant something. A home number, a late night knock on the door, a key. Now, anyone may open a conversation with you simply because they can see you are awake. The threshold has vanished. So you begin quietly, almost shyly at first, to build it back. You stop replying instantly. You let a message sit. You allow a call to ring out. It looks like defiance from the outside. Inside, it feels like oxygen. This is what the culture calls detachment. But it is not detachment, it is self reservation. You are pulling pieces of yourself back from circulation. You have circulated enough. Because circulation is what we have become, isn't it? We are expected to be on, always available, always reachable. Why? Why? The language is clinical, but the demand is intimate. The world feels entitled to you, your time, your attention, your sympathy, your ear. And do they really value it? Well, that's a discussion for another time. And you very politely are starting to say no. There is a secret loneliness that lives inside this. It is elegant, composed, almost dignified, but loneliness nonetheless. Not the loneliness of having no one. No, this is something different. It's very simple. This is the loneliness of being constantly reached but rarely understood. You know this one. I'm in loss of words for it. You answer it all day. You engage, you soothe, you deliver, you fix, you reassure. You are good. You are reliable. You are admired, even. But at the end of it, when the door is shut and the lights are low, you realize no one has actually touched you. They have access to you. That is not the same. And so you begin to withdraw. Not because you dislike people, but because you are starving for a form of attention that is not extraction. This is where the pleasure comes in. Yes, pleasure, quite adult, mostly illicit. There is a particular sweetness in disappearing for an evening without warning anyone. Not in anger, not to make a point, simply because you want to belong to yourself for a few hours. You cook for one, you listen to music no one else would like, your phone lies face down like a well trained animal. For a brief, beautiful while, you are not on call to your own life. There is power in that. We don't admit that often, especially not out loud, because the world calls it antisocial. The world calls it cold. Women are told it is attitude. Men are told it is mood. In truth, it is reclamation. It is the first boundary that isn't written in passive language. There is also status in it. Let us be honest, elegantly but honestly. Wealth never truly vanishes, it only changes how it appears. Once the rich showed diamonds, then they showed square footage. Now, the highest form of luxury is disappearance. The private jet is not really about comfort, it is about not having to queue. The members only club is not truly about taste, it is about not having to endure the public gaze. The villa off grid, the retreat, no cameras allowed, the restaurant, no photographs on premises, the assistant saying she's unavailable this week. This is the new gold. The aristocracy 2.0, seclusion as identity. What we are watching in real time is the monetization of absence. There are entire industries now built on controlled unreachability, digital sabbaticals, curated silence, wellness that promises nobody will bother you. We are paying, quite literally, we are paying for the right to not be interrupted. Imagine telling that to your grandmother. Imagine telling it to yourself 10 years ago. Silence was once free. Now it comes in invoices. But there is where it becomes tender because it would be easy, almost fashionable to say that being unreachable is all glamour. Silk robe, closed door, do not disturb, softness. The truth is less photogenic. Sometimes being unreachable is just sitting in a quiet kitchen late at night because you cannot give one more ounce of yourself to anybody, not tonight. Sometimes being unreachable is crying without announcement. Not to be rescued, not to be seen, but simply to release the pressure without having to narrate it again and again. You disappear not to be dramatic, you disappear to survive gracefully. There is nothing selfish about it. Let me say something to the listener who has recently gone a little quiet, the one who has stopped responding as bright, who takes longer to answer, who has begun to say, I'm resting instead of inventing an excuse. You are not becoming cold, you are becoming precise. You are no longer offering constant access to people who offer you occasional care. That is not cruelty. That is calibration of your own life. And yet, even in the sanctuary of being unreachable, the heart still wants one thing. This is the part we rarely confess. We don't actually want to disappear forever. We simply want to know that if we did, someone would notice. It is a delicate longing. You don't want to be chased. You don't want to be managed. You don't want to be guilted back online. You just want one person, one real person who sees your absence and understands what it means. Someone who doesn't write, where are you, but instant thinks she is protecting her mind tonight. He's keeping himself intact. That is intimacy now, not constant contact. Accurate interpretation, I would say. We talk so often about red flags and green flags and miss the only flag that matters. Who can read your silence without resenting it? That is the person you keep. That is the person. The rest is noise. We should also be honest about pride. There is a pride in not answering, a subtle pleasure in letting the typing indicator blink and blink and blink and giving it nothing. In a world that has trained you to perform availability like politeness, withholding response can feel indecently good. You begin to understand emperors, the kings, the queens. But pride alone won't keep you warm. This is the tragic undertone. Unreachability protects you, yes, but it can also become a glass case. You touch no one, and no one touches you, and after a while, the safety hardens into isolation. You begin to fear being seen in your softness because you have invested so much in your own composure. And that is how loneliness sneaks in wearing mink. You look elegant, you look serene, you answer to no one, you sleep with your phone off and your jaw unclenched. But in the quiet, a question arrives without knocking. If I vanish too well, will anyone know how to find me back? That is the cost. And yet, I will tell you something comforting now. Wanting to retreat does not mean you are broken, it means you are saturated. You are not fragile for needing distance. You are not dramatic for needing quiet. You are not cold for needing your own company. You are simply alive in a century that is louder than the nervous system was designed to bear. You are adapting. What is new is not the desire for solitude. What is new is the elegance with which we can finally ask for it. We no longer have to pretend we are busy to be unavailable. We can simply say, "This evening belongs to me." We no longer have to invent a headache to bow out of conversation. We can say, "I don't have the energy to speak kindly right now, so I am choosing not to speak at all." There is a quiet dignity in that. And here is where I will leave you tonight. If you have ever felt guilty for going silent, I am giving you permission as a fellow citizen of this very fast century to stop apologizing. Step back when you need to. Turn off what drains you. Walk slowly, answer later, sleep early. You do not have to earn your own absence. But keep one door unlocked somewhere, one human being who is allowed through without any drama. Someone who can sit in your quiet without demanding your sparkle. That is not weakness, that is what prevents solitude from becoming exile. This is Anthropologically Yours, and I am Rashmi. And to every lonely heart listening in the dark tonight, your silence is not emptiness, your silence is you returning to yourself. See you later.